Level 1. The low-risk hook. It begins with a dream, as all modern nightmares do. John is sitting on his couch in a suburb of Toronto, or perhaps a quiet, fading corner of New Jersey, scrolling through YouTube to escape the crushing, soul-eroding monotony of his 9-to-5. Between a video on DIY home repair and a trailer for a movie he'll never actually pay to see, an ad appears. It features a man in his mid-20s, standing in front of a white Lamborghini that he clearly rented for the afternoon in Boca Raton. The man isn't screaming, he's whispering. He's telling John that the system is rigged, that the 9-to-5 is a form of modern sharecropping, and that he has discovered a proven framework to launch a six-figure online business using nothing but a laptop and raw desire. He speaks of passive income, the holy grail of the lazy and the desperate, promising a world where John can make $10,000, $20,000, maybe even $50,000 a month while he sleeps. John, whose bank account is currently a shallow, tepid puddle of stagnant funds, feels a sharp spark of hope. The man in the ad isn't selling a product, and he's selling a version of John that isn't tired, isn't broke, and isn't terrified of the next rent increase. The cost of this digital transformation is a one-time investment of $3,500. There's a guarantee, of course, a word used by marketers to bypass the prefrontal cortex and go straight for the lizard brain. John doesn't have $3,500 in cash, but he does have a credit card with a $5,000 limit that he's been saving for an emergency. He tells himself this isn't spending, it's investing in his future. He swipes the card, and the transaction is approved with a mocking little chime. The debt is now negative $3,500. John feels like he's finally on the path to the laptop lifestyle. In reality, he has just paid a professional liar for the privilege of being the next victim in a high-speed grift. Level 2. The silent bleed. 3 weeks into the course, the initial euphoria begins to evaporate, replaced by the cold, damp reality of operational overhead. John quickly discovers that the $3,500 was just the entry fee to the stadium. It didn't include the cost of the jersey or the ball. To actually implement the proven system, John is told he needs a suite of mandatory software tools. He needs a high-end e-commerce platform that costs $299 a month. He needs an email marketing service, a landing page builder, and a product research tool that all require their own monthly subscriptions. These are the SaaS parasites, quiet little companies that bleed you dry $30 at a time while you're too busy grinding to notice your lifeblood pooling on the floor. But the real hemorrhage is the traffic. John is told that organic reach is dead and that he needs to feed the algorithm gods of Silicon Valley. He starts dumping $500, then $1,000, then $1,500 a month into Facebook and YouTube ads to drive traffic to his generic, drop-shipped storefront that sells plastic gadgets nobody actually needs. He watches the ads manager dashboard with the intensity of a hawk, mesmerized by the flickering numbers. He sees the clicks, he sees the impressions, but he doesn't see a single sale. His ads aren't converting because he's selling a product that 10,000 other students are selling simultaneously using the exact same templates. His initial credit card is now maxed out to the hilt, and the interest is beginning to compound. His debt has ballooned to negative $6,000. The passive income dream is currently costing him more per hour than a luxury hotel suite in Vancouver, and he's doing all the manual labor himself. Level 3. The mindset trap. Panic is a powerful motivator for making terrible decisions. John is now staring at a credit card statement that makes his stomach turn. He reaches out to the support team of the course he bought, hoping for a lifeline. Instead, he is funneled into a one-on-one strategy call with a senior success coach. This coach is actually a 22-year-old high-ticket closer working on a 10% commission from a call center in Florida. The coach doesn't look at John's failing ads or his terrible product descriptions. Instead, he attacks John's mindset. He tells John that the reason he is failing is that he has a poverty consciousness. He tells him that he is playing too small and that he needs to collapse time by upgrading to the $10,000 Elite Mastermind or the Done-for-You coaching program. When John hesitates, citing the fact that he is literally out of money and behind on his car payments, the closer becomes a psychological surgeon. He tells John that successful people don't use their own money, they use OPM, other people's money. He explicitly tells John to treat the 24% interest on a new credit card as the unavoidable cost of doing business, and suggests he leverage his 401k or RRSP He asks John, "What is your freedom worth? Are you going to let a few $1,000s stand between you and your legacy?" John, feeling a deep, burning shame for his own caution, opens a second credit card with a higher limit. He pays the $10,000. His debt is now negative $16,000. He feels a temporary rush of relief because he thinks he has finally bought the real secret. He hasn't. He has just bought a more expensive seat on a ship that was designed to sink the moment it left the dock. Level 4. The Desperation Pivot. Months pass, and the done-for-you mastermind reveals itself to be a series of generic boilerplate templates and a group Zoom call once a week where a mentor recites empty platitudes about staying the course. John has made 0 sales. His Shopify store is a digital ghost town, but his minimum monthly credit card payments are now larger than his utility bills. He is suffocating under the weight of his investment. The slow burn of e-commerce feels like an eternity when you're drowning in high-interest debt that compounds while you sleep. He needs money now, not in 6 months, not in a year, today. He needs a windfall to reset the board. He abandons the e-commerce store he spent months building. He stops the ads and cancels the subscriptions, but the debt remains glowing red on his phone. He pivots. He sees people on his feed talking about day trading and scalping the markets. They make it look so easy. Just some colorful lines on a screen and a few clicks from a beach. He thinks, if I can just make $200 a day, I can cover my interest payments and keep the lights on. He takes the last $2,000 he has in his emergency savings account, the money he was supposed to keep for a rainy day or a medical emergency, and he opens a brokerage account. He's not investing anymore. He's a cornered animal looking for an exit in a room that's slowly filling with carbon monoxide. His debt sits at negative $18,000, but his hope is now pinned on a flickering candle in a hurricane. Level 5. The Revenge Trade. John starts trading on margin, which is the financial equivalent of trying to juggle loaded shotguns in a bouncy house. On Tuesday morning, he takes a $2,000 loss on a sure thing trade because a random headline in London sent the market into a tailspin. Instead of walking away and licking his wounds, John's brain enters a state of primal survival mode. This is the gambler's fallacy in purest, most toxic form. He thinks the market owes him his money back. He thinks the next trade has to be a winner to balance the scales of cosmic justice. He revenge trades. He doubles his position size. Then he triples it. He's looking for one big hit to make it all back in 3 or 4 trades and prove that he isn't the failure his bank account says he is. Then, a sudden market news spike. A random tweet from a central banker or a glitch in an algorithmic feed sends the price screaming in the opposite direction. Because John is over-leveraged, he has no room to breathe. He is underwater within seconds. His phone buzzes with a notification that feels like a heart attack. It's a margin call. Before he can even process the information, his brokerage account is automatically liquidated at the worst possible price. The $2,000 is gone. The windfall never came. John is now sitting in a room that feels smaller and colder than it did an hour ago. He has no savings, 2 maxed out credit cards, and a mounting sense of dread that he can't outrun. His debt is now negative $25,000. He has reached the end of the legitimate hustle culture, and he is now perfectly primed for the true predators who wait in the shadows of the internet. Level 6. The Guaranteed Rescue. John is emotionally and financially destroyed. He is vulnerable, a word that professional scammers can smell across oceans like sharks smell blood in the water. One evening, while staring at his ruined life on LinkedIn and wondering how he's going to explain the missing savings to his spouse, he receives a message. It's from a woman named Sarah, or perhaps a man named Michael. The profile looks professional, wealthy, understated, old money, vibes with photos of high-end galleries and mountain retreats. They don't try to sell him a course or a mastermind. Instead, they start a human conversation. They ask about his business. They empathize with the unprecedented volatility of the markets. This is the grooming phase, also known in the industry as pig butchering. Over the course of 3 weeks, the scammer builds absolute, ironclad trust through a series of carefully crafted psychological maneuvers. They send John screenshots of private investment groups and insider trades that show massive 6-figure profits. They talk about a highly successful investment group. They are part of that uses proprietary AI and quantum computing to trade crypto with a 99% win rate. They don't push John, they play hard to get. They wait for him to ask for help. And eventually, John, desperate for a miracle to save his marriage and his home, begs for a way in.
He believes he has finally met a real expert who actually cares about his success. The debt is still $25,000, but John thinks he's found the ladder that will lead him out of the pit and into the sunlight.
Level 7. The Ether Phase. The scammer introduces John to a highly sophisticated crypto trading platform. To John's untrained eyes, it looks more professional and advanced than Coinbase or Binance. It has real-time charts, a ticking news ticker, and a sleek, high-tech user interface. This platform is a complete and total fake, a digital puppet theater controlled by a criminal syndicate in a compound halfway across the world. John is now under the ether, a psychological state where his logic centers have been completely bypassed by a heightened emotional state of hopeful desperation. He is no longer thinking. He is hallucinating a future where his problems are gone. Believing this is his only way out of his $25,000 hole, John does the unthinkable. He goes to a private lender or a local credit union and takes out a $40,000 personal loan, using his car or his remaining credit score as collateral. He deposits the entire $40,000 into the fake platform. Within 48 hours, his dashboard shows that his $40,000 has turned into $80,000. A week later, it shows $300,000. John is ecstatic. He's crying in the shower so his family won't hear him. He's calculating how he's going to pay off his parents' mortgage and send his kids to a private school. He's rich on paper. His debt is technically negative $65,000 because of the loan, but the screen says he's a winner. He is the most dangerous kind of fool, a fool who thinks he's finally won the game. Level 8. The Slaughter. The time comes for John to collect his winnings. He wants to withdraw $100,000 to pay off his debts and finally breathe a sigh of relief. He hits the withdraw button. Nothing happens. Suddenly, he gets an email from the platform's global compliance department. They tell him his account has been flagged for suspicious activity or regulatory verification. To release the funds, John is told he must first pay a 15% capital gains tax and a 5% international compliance fee out of his own pocket. They tell him the tax cannot be deducted from his balance due to smart contract limitations on the blockchain, a phrase that means absolutely nothing but sounds intimidatingly technical to a man who is drowning. John is terrified. He's so close to being free he can almost taste it. He doesn't have the $25,000 for the tax. He goes back to his family. He tells his brother, his parents, his friends that he has $300,000 locked in an account, and he just needs a small loan to get it out. He begs, he pleads, he maxes out his last remaining lines of credit. He scrapes together the $25,000 and sends it into the void. The moment the transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, the expert on LinkedIn blocks him. The customer service email bounces. The website goes dark, replaced by a 404 not found error. The realization hits John like a physical blow to the heart. The $300,000 never existed. The $40,000 was gone the moment he sent it. The $25,000 for the tax was just the final squeeze of the sponge. His debt is now negative $90,000. He is a ghost in his own life, standing in a room full of wreckage. Level 9. The Final Grift. Completely bankrupt and facing a ruined life, John is now a bottom feeder in the ecosystem of fraud. He is looking for a way to just survive the next 30 days before the inevitable foreclosures and lawsuits begin. He sees an ad for a credit repair and debt settlement scheme that promises to wipe the slate clean, fix his credit score, and secure 0% interest business loans, so he can start over from scratch. It's his last few $1,000s, money he should have used for a bankruptcy lawyer or food for his family. He pays them out of a habit of hope that has become pathological. Instead of helping him, this company is just another predator in a different suit. They force John to apply for a stack of new business credit cards using gray area techniques and questionable business entities. They rack up dozens of hard inquiries on his credit report in a single afternoon, destroying whatever remains of his financial reputation. They take a massive consulting fee up front and leave John with a pile of new, high-interest debt and a credit score that has been nuked into the low 400s. They didn't fix his life. They just sold the remaining scraps of his identity to the highest bidder. John's debt reaches the final, staggering milestone, negative $100,000. He has no assets, no credit, and no bridge left unburned. Level 10. The Statistic. John sits alone in a dark room. The clicking sound in his car doesn't matter anymore because the repo man is coming for it on Monday morning. He is officially a member of a very large, very quiet, and very broken club. He is one of the 72% of retail day traders who end the year completely broke. He is a contributing member to the $12.5 billion lost to investment fraud and cyber scams in 2024 alone.
He is the person the gurus never mention in their testimonials. He is the exit liquidity for the course sellers, the SaaS companies, the market makers, the mastermind closers, and the international crime syndicates that operate with impunity. John isn't a failure because he didn't work hard enough. He worked harder than most. He's a failure because he believed that in a world governed by the laws of thermodynamics, complex mathematics, and high-frequency algorithms, there was a secret door marked easy money just for him. He believed that debt was a tool rather than a predator's snare. He is now a data point in a regulatory report, a cautionary tale that nobody wants to hear because it's too depressing for a social media feed. He is a victim of the great North American lie, the idea that you are only one secret strategy away from a life you didn't earn. The machine is satisfied. John has been fully processed, digested, and discarded. And somewhere, right now, another John is watching a YouTube ad about a proven system and reaching for his credit card with a trembling hand. The cycle continues, the house always wins, and the house is always, always hungry.